Welcome to the sail loft of the Artful Sailor. My name is Emiliano Marino, and today we thought you might like to see how we make one of the components in our Ditty Bag Kit. And one of the components is what we call a twine bobbin. And on the twine bobbin, which is a piece of rope like this, and here's a big example of it. And when Salty Sue goes to work with, I don't know how many fathoms it is of twine, I'd say 150 feet at least, she winds that linen twine around and around and around and around until it looks like this. And then it is put in along with the other components of the kit and ready for the kind of hand stitching that you see here. So let's get to work, and I will show you how we make these twine bobbins, because it's a process. All right, putting that aside and these aside, I'll interject here that these twine bobbins, not only do they have the twine wrapped around them, but this piece of rope really makes a dandy, you might call it a pin cushion, a place to store your needles when you're not sewing. You can see it right there. Works really well. Now, pay attention, because this is going to be a nice little process involving what is called the strangle knot. Now, strangle knot is very similar to a constrictor knot, but it's different in that the way in which it's laid up, the twine crosses over in a different manner. So what twine do we use? We use this tarred marlin, hemp, tarred, and we wax it up, and we keep it good and warm so it's going to be slippery. Then we take the rope that's going to become the twine bobbin, and it's marked off in lengths, as you can see here, and we tie the strangle knot around the rope. And how this is laid up has everything to do with the finished product, because everything has to be even and it needs to be tight, not just something that's going to slide off sometime. And I'll add to that this is much tighter than a common whipping. So it can serve purposes other than just holding the ends of a twine bobbin. So come on in, let me show you how this knot is tied. And I'm going to be going in a certain direction because it has to do with the lay of the rope, and it has to do with that I'm right-handed, and that we want to have this strangle knot strangling in such a way as that it tightens up the lay of the rope. So I've pre-made this doubled over loop. You see that right there? And it's got an overhand knot in the end, and it's nice and warm. So it's going to be, and waxed, so it's going to be slippery. And I'm laying it over the rope like that, and I go around the other side, and then I come up, and I go over itself. I know, you can stop it and check out how I've done this. I'm going over itself, and now here is where the difference between the strangle knot and the constrictor knot is shown, because I'm going to come up and over that piece of marlin, the standing piece, and then there's this little delicate operation where you've got to fish it underneath that crossing part, and underneath and underneath again. Now if you look, see how that's an overhand knot, but it's crossed over. There's a piece crossing over, and the way that's laid up there, that's what makes it a strangle knot. And we need to make sure that all the pieces are lying fair and flush, and we line that up with the position that we want it to be. Now if you look at this side, you see all the pieces are side by side like that. Okay, and you see how that crosses over, and we tension it up. Now you could try and pull this with your bare hands or pliers or something, but you will never, mark my words, you will never get it as tight as is possible with the method that I'm about to show you. And it requires 2 fids. Here they are, and I'm going to turn this around like this, and I'm going to take one of the fids and I'm going to stick it in that loop at that end, pull that around, and I'm going to take the other fid and I'm going to stick it in the loop formed at the other end. There we've got two fids, and then we're making what is similar to a Spanish windlass, and we're going to be going around and tightening this up, and you can get such a tremendous amount of leverage. And if you look closely, zoom right in on that knot, you can see the parts slipping, tightening. There they go. Okay, now I'm going to pull this back, and I'm going to bring this around so I can go, and I want you to listen to what happens. Just watch as I turn this around and listen. Ready? Here I go. You hear that? That was the tarred marlin. When it finally got tight enough, broke. And that is rock hard. I take a knife, and I go in, and good sharp knife, and I go in and I cut the ends off like that. You see? Okay, there's the one that I just did. There's one that I did previously. Now you see that mark right there. I'm going to then. Well, I'll just back up and say that's the knotting part of this. Now we've got to cut the finished twine bobbin. So take a rigging knife here, and we put that across like that. There's the mark, and we put that right on there, and we reach down, we get a nice big heavy mallet, and we go like that, and there's one end, and then we're going to cut this off like this, and thing's probably going to go flying. So where's my mallet? Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Woo! Oh, look at that. Wait a minute. I've got to go run across the room here because this thing went flying, but this leads us to the end of things, because why? Because there is a finished twine bobbin with the 2 strangle knots on either end. And now, hey, Salty Sue, we've got a twine bobbin here ready for you to wind up the twine. Come on in. All right. So there you are, and I want to thank you very much for being here today and seeing how this is done, and being able to appreciate the details of what goes into a ditty bag kit here at the Artful Sailor.